On a sunny morning, in a quiet little classroom, a kind teacher walked up to the whiteboard. With calm hands, she drew a straight line. It was exactly 100 centimeters long. Then she turned to her students with a warm smile and said gently, "Good morning, my dear students. Can anyone show me how to make this line shorter?" The students sat quietly, thinking. After a moment, one confident boy raised his hand and stepped forward. He walked up to the board, picked up the eraser, and carefully wiped away part of the line. Now it measured only 80 centimeters. With a proud smile, he looked back at the class and said, "There, I made it shorter." Every eye turned to the teacher, waiting to see what she would say. But the teacher said nothing. She simply smiled, nodded gently, and then looked around the room. "All right," she said kindly. "Who would like to try next?" The second student slowly stepped forward, more hesitant than the first. With quiet care, she erased a little more of the line. Now it measured only 60 centimeters. She looked back at the teacher, unsure if she had done the right thing. But once again, the teacher said nothing. She simply offered a calm, gentle smile and waited patiently. Then came a third student, and a fourth. One by one, they each stepped up and erased a little more of the line. Bit by bit, it disappeared, until only a small piece was left, just 20 centimeters, thin, barely there. A quiet confusion filled the air in the classroom. What was the point of all this? The students turned to look at their teacher, hoping for an answer, but she didn't speak. Instead, she gently turned her gaze to the back of the room. There, in the last row, sat a quiet student. She hadn't moved at all. But she had been watching. Her eyes were calm, steady, and full of thought. The teacher smiled warmly and said, "Now, it's your turn." All eyes followed her as she quietly walked to the front of the class. But instead of reaching for the eraser like the others, she picked up a marker. Without even touching the tiny piece of the old line, she calmly drew a new one just above it, a line that stretched longer, straighter, and stronger. It measured 120 centimeters longer than the old one. The room fell silent. No one expected that. The teacher's eyes lit up with admiration. She walked over, placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, and said softly, "You are wise, my dear. You didn't try to erase the first line, but you chose to draw a better one. And just like that, the old line looked smaller, without you ever needing to touch it." She turned to face the class, her voice soft but steady. "Children, if you want something to look smaller, you don't have to erase it. You don't need to bring anyone down. You don't have to say bad things or hurt others." She pointed gently at the 2 lines on the board. "Instead, build something better. Let your actions speak for themselves, and in time, people will see the difference. They will understand what truly matters." Then she paused, giving the students a moment to feel the meaning of her words. "Remember, my dear student, to be great doesn't mean making others feel small. To rise high doesn't mean pushing others down. Be like the stars in the sky, shining bright without ever dimming the light of others." That day, the students didn't just learn about lines and measurement. They learned a quiet, powerful lesson about life, a lesson about self-determination, that true happiness and real strength don't come from competing with others, but from the inner drive to grow and become a better person every day. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who might need a little light today, because kindness is meant to be passed on. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you won't miss the next inspiring story. Let's grow together.